Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Elion Design Solutions, where we design some stuff in Autocad and 3D. The last couple tutorials we've gone over how to do some basic shapes and some basic lighting and whatnot. Haven't really done anything that for any of you guys looking for a real world application based thing, and today I decided to let's do something that maybe a lot of you guys in the mechanical industry or any kind of hydraulic industry could appreciate something like this, being able to show an assembly of your various parts. And what you have shown here is what we're going to try to shoot for on the end result. It might vary a little bit because we're not going to hold to hard numbers. Every industry has its own numbers that they use, so we're just going to get a good feel of how to actually get these shapes in here. And you can see how we have, this is the render that was created on the model that I have, and you can see after you get the render, you can insert the PNG file, which is what the render is, or that's the file format that it produces, and you can insert that as an image. You can attach it, and then from there you can add in supplemental text. And a neat thing, this is why I really like doing these guys, is because you can do these renders and leave off the text and say the next time you have to do one of these, for instance, if this is a generic drawing that you have two pipe connections, or it could be anything really, you could simply just change the text and the image stays the same, and you don't have to recreate anything. From there, it's kind of like editing a Word doc, and you just go on about your business, and it takes you little to no time to do. For instance, you could change that, whatever serial number you have for the bolts, you could change it to that. If it changes every single time, depending on how many bolts, the hole size, the grade of the bolt, and how many washers you have, all that stuff is easily changed. Now, if, of course, you change the number and the quantity, depending on your industry, you can either write not applicable, or you might want to go and redo it. But since we have it done, it wouldn't take much to re-render it. So just to give you an idea of what this looks like 3D before we actually try to tackle it, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to move this. Excuse me, guys. I feel like I'm trying to come down with something here. Sinus pollen and everything here. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit here. And let's, again, guys, as a reminder, you can shift middle click to rotate. And that's what I'm doing here. And this weird area here, guys, is a scenery or a background or a backdrop to reflect these light point lights here, so that it just creates a better shadow. Now I'm going to go to my realistic view here, and you say, well, wait a minute, that looks different than the render. Well, now when it renders out, these are a little bit different. So as you're rendering, which we'll do in a little bit, you want to pay attention to that. Just do a quick render just to kind of make sure that's what you're wanting to use. We'll go over a neat little thing I discovered while doing this, because I usually had a little bit of trouble getting in the hardware paths to go into the actual assembly. A lot of times I had to hand draw those and just kind of cut them, and they weren't really a part of the actual render, and it didn't look, you really didn't notice, but I knew it was kind of botched. But as you can see, it's legit. They go, actually they go slightly not in it, but obviously if we shift that over it'll be fine. But from here you can't really tell. And then again, your directional arrows as to what goes where, not necessary, guys. Actually, most of the industries that I've worked with that required anything like this, they didn't even require you to have directional arrows. They just wanted you to have a path showing what connected to what. I chose this particular shape just due to some of the neat commands that you can use that are can help you out pretty quick. For instance, we're going to go over the once we get the press pull command, which is going to give you this bottom flange, and again the press pull command to extrude out this piece of the pipe here, and then after that we'll do the subtract command to get rid of the interior part of that, and you'll see what we're talking about in a minute. Then once we do that, we will create a cylinder and insert it into the pipe here, about here, and then we will subtract out that, no, I'm sorry, let me back up. We will array that cylinder all the way around, and I think I did 30 units on this one, or 30 objects, and you can do more or less depending on how you want to do it. And then from there, you just subtract out the objects from the flange, and you're almost. And then all I did was mirror this, guys. I mean, you can make it as taller or longer or shorter, and you could even put a bend in the pipe if you wanted to, and then put another bend up here if you wanted to get really creative with it. I just use these as more like couplings, if you will. So anyway, other than that, I just added this little guy in here, the backdrop and the lights, and that was really it, guys. I mean, aside from adding this path in there for the bolts showing where they go, but it's a pretty easy one. Let's go ahead and jump into it to kind of see how fast we can get this thing knocked out. Okay, so I am going to, or say we need to, let's just start a new drawing. Say new. And really, guys, in my experience, each one of these gives you a little bit different format, but for what we're doing, I think this is okay, just using AutoCAD. And if you do start with AutoCAD 3D, it starts you out, I believe, in a perspective mode. If that's your cup of tea, hey, go for it, guys. But me, a lot of times I'll start out doing 2D stuff, so I want to start out a regular just AutoCAD template. So I'm just going to open, and then from there you need to, I'm not going to do this, but you guys do a save as, save it where you'll remember the file. If you're just doing this for a tutorial and wanting to learn, just save it to your desktop. That way if a lightning storm happens or power goes out or just Lord knows what, you guys will be able to recover at least part of your stuff. So now quick little tip, if you guys didn't know you could do this. Now we have two drawings open. You can see we have the pipe assembly drawing that we were just looking at, which is that guy right there here, and then we have the one we just opened. Now if you did not know you could tab in between drawings, and a lot of people like going in the, I'll be honest with you, don't even know view, is it the view, switch windows. Okay, see how long that's taking me to do. I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to stuff, so I figure out the quickest way to do it. I'm a keystroke guy, so if you hit Control Tab 2 times, because you have to tab through the start menu here, it'll take you back to that. You don't have to remember, because if you get on someone else's computer and it's not 2018, it might be like 2000 or whatever. It might not have all these ribbons and you don't know where they're at. So me, that's why I try to always learn keystroke commands, because they're usually pretty universal. I'm a huge advocate for that, guys. So on that note, please pay attention to the command line here as I am working through what we're doing, and you'll kind of, if I don't say what I'm doing, you should be able to see what I'm doing. Not trying to leave anybody in the dark, because we do these to help you guys out. So again, I'm going to Control Tab, and there you go. I'm in another drawing. So if we need to go back and reference something or steal from something from another drawing, cut and paste it into this one. You get really quick way of doing that. So first thing we're going to do, let's just draw a circle, and this is going to be the main portion of what we did. So are going to do. So let's just go. I don't know. Hit 20. I don't even know if that's just out of curiosity, guys. I know I told you we're not going to do hard numbers, but being that we're probably going to snatch these guys and put them into the other drawing, I kind of want to make it as close as I can. So I'm just going to snap a real quick measurement, and so we're going to throw that on the top view, and let's just get a diameter. Did it do it? How about this? Let's do a diameter dimension. What did it say? 50. So sorry. So that needs to be 25 as a radius. So actually, we can leave it. I'm trying not to redo things. So if you type in PR, enter. This is your properties palette, and if you guys are not familiar with it, it's a neat little tool. That way, if you highlight anything, it gives you all the guts and nuts and bolts and information of what you have selected. And here you can see we have a radius of 20. Now the other one had a what did we say, a diameter of 50. So this needs to be 25. So 2 radiuses give you a diameter. There you go. And you can change these things on the fly and see how these are associative, and they change respectively. If you change this, it changes this. Basically, so that's kind of neat. And now what we can do, if we go back and Control Tab, go into the other one, and we get the other diameter. I'm making a liar out of myself by not saying we're using hard numbers, but I can do that. So this is my video. So weird number, 41 inches as the diameter on that other one. The tube there. So what we're going to do is draw a circle about. So again, guys, let's see, enter. I take for granted sometimes, and we're going to type in D for diameter and type in 41, not 441, 41, and for some reason that went way over there. So let's type in D for diameter and type in 41. There you go. Now the wall thickness here, I could care less, so we're just going to offset that, say half an inch, or say 1 inch. Offset O for offset, and then just type in your distance, and that's say 1 inch. So it's going to offset 1 inch either side, whichever way. If I do it this way or that way, whichever way I'm on the line. So we're going to do an inside. There you go, guys. That is the bulk of what we're doing. So now the next thing we can do, let's find the midpoint between the quadrant point of this outer circle to the quadrant point of this middle circle here, and which those, if you are kind of confused as to what those are, if you look here, they are basically inner circle, middle circle, outer circle there. So, and that's what I'm trying to create here, and you'll see in a second. So what you have to do here, now we want to do the easy way to do that. If you don't have your O snaps on, please turn them on. If you don't have them on, a quick way of turning them on, or if you're unfamiliar with even what they even are, if you guys are, some of you guys are relatively new, just close the properties palette. We can get it open anytime, or you can just type in PR, enter, and then it'll pop back up, or I believe you can just type in properties if you can't remember that shortcut. So what we're going to do is try to find the center point. Quick way of doing that is there to there. Again, I got sidetracked. You can type in OSNAP if those aren't popping up, and you can choose your quadrant here. Like say for instance, if we opened it up and that was off, because that, and you can't choose it if it's, I mean, you could type it in, but much quicker to have it chosen. These are the ones I like to use. That's just what I like. And that I've been doing this for, I'm going to date myself, about 15 years now or longer. This is just what I like to use. So some people like to use way more, and other individuals like to use way less or none. And they like to just hand key everything in. Yeah, there you go. So now what we want to do, now that we've established a vertical line from the mid circle to the outer circle. We want to find the center of it. So if you type an L there, you can see that mid pops up. So what we're going to do, you don't draw the line. We're just being dumb. But you can draw a circle, and we are going to do that. So draw a circle about the midpoint there, and let's just kind of eyeball it to say something like that. Now I'm going to get kind of maybe a little ahead of myself, because do I want to do that? I'm trying to think, because what we're trying to do is establish the bolts. So I'm going to copy these guys in just for a second. We're not going to draw these guys. I did draw these for this particular tutorial. I hand modeled these using a couple of neat commands, the helical command. Now these are not, ready to be fabricated, nut and bolts and washers. I mean, I just eyeballed them, and the thread count might be off, or whatever, but it looks stinking real. I mean, when you get right down to it, I mean, well, that's a little grainy because I'm zoomed in, but for all intents and purposes, it's good to go. So what we're going to do there is we're going to copy from one drawing to another. So I'm not going to copy that second washer. I am going to copy this though. You select your items from one drawing to another. If you want to copy, say, anything, you can go Control. Now, if you want to copy as about a base point, do Control Shift C while you have them highlighted, and just click anywhere. And what that does is that establishes an insertion point. That's where it's going to insert about that. Because if you don't do that, it might have the pick point way over here, because it's going to pick it for you. Yeah. Now that's copy about a point. That's what that was. Yeah. And then if you do Control Shift V, it's going to paste the drawing in as a block about that point. So that's neat. You can actually create a block really quick in drawing. I could go ahead and I could go Control Shift V. See how they're already there? And because I did that, all of them are blocked. It's a block. So anyway, we're going to erase that. And yes, some of your layers get a little messed up whenever you do that. But that's easy to fix, guys. So what we're going to do is we're just going to paste it in there like that. I'm going to move it because I have no idea where that thing got pasted in at. Excuse me. And we're going to plop it in right there, just about that line. And by doing that, I know that it is within a close proximity of where we're going to be drawing, and it's not 15 miles down or up or left or right. So we're going to go back into a top view, and I did all of that rambling to do this right here. I just wanted to get a real quick diameter. I'll just say from there, come on people, from there, and if the quadrant's not popping up, just type in QUA. See there? Sometimes it wants to pick it up and sometimes it doesn't. And I will say, more often than not, with 3D geometry, it does not want to pick it up. And unless you guys can give me a hint as to how to fix that. But anyway, so that's 3/4 inch radius on that one. And yes, I could have used the radius guy over here, but anyway, so what we want to do here, again, we're going to pull our properties palette back up, PR, and we are going to change the radius to 0.75, and the center point will remain where it's at. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have left it where I was at, simply because you don't want a bolt hole the exact same size as the bolt diameter. I've actually learned that the hard way doing some of these guys. So we're just going to let's just change that to, oops, I closed the properties box. PR, enter. See, we are getting practice with it. Highlight your circle if you're actually following me here, and just change it to 1. Just make it just a little bit bigger so we can slip that bolt in there, and everything rainbows and sunshine, and we're good to go. Alright, So, alright, so now what we want to do, I'm just going to move these little gadgets over here out the way. So, next thing to do, so you don't have to calculate the exact number of the angle and where it needs to be, and you know, if you guys aren't really familiar with the 3D array command, or array command for that matter, here you go. So what we're going to do, the array command is AR, and I honestly don't even know what the symbol looks like, because I know a lot of you guys like to use these. I'm just so ingrained in learning there it is right there, and you get different options here, and you'll see these in the command line in a second. And I know you guys are probably gonna fuss at me for not using that, but I promise if you get used to typing, you won't ever go away from that, simply because you won't ever have to remember where any of this junk is. If your computer farts out on you and you have to reload this stuff and it's all jacked up, it's all over the place, and you got to remember where it's at or what version of CAD you're working on, if you have to work on your friends, or if you change jobs and they're working on a different version, it's almost like relearning everything. Learn your keystroke command, and I might do a tutorial later on down the road just for that purpose. Anyway, I beat that dead horse enough. So let's array this guy. So AR, and enter, and then select your object, and it says it, and then enter. We're going to go with a polar array. Just think of rectangular array. If you did a rectangular array, because that would be the other. If you see there on the command line, array, enter, array type, rectangular, path, polar, and then polar is in parentheses. And all you would have to do is type in the blue letters there, or the capital letters, whichever capital letters you're using. That's if you're in an older CAD version. They're not going to be blue, and you're not going to be able to click on them. In 2018, you're actually able to select them. They become clickable, or you can type. However, if you think of rectangular array, it would create basically like a box. You would create a series of objects going this way and a series of objects going this way. It's like it would create, say if you said 3 objects this way and 3 objects that way, you would have a total of 9 objects. That would be columns and rows, or whichever. I always get those backwards, but we're going to go with polar. So just type in P for polar, or it's already there, but we're going to array path. Oh, see, I didn't say, I screwed that up, guys. It's asking me which, well, duh, you want P, which one? I have to type in PO for polar, because both of those are capital. So, teach myself something. Alright, so now we have chosen polar array. So basically, we have to now choose, it wants us to pick the center point, because it wants to know about what center point do you want me to rotate these guys around. So I'm going to say right here. So now it says, okay, well, let's see, we're starting to see something here. And some of you guys might even want to just go with this one. I want to go with more. I just think it looks a little better. But we're going to go with, where did it go? Base point, angle, items. Items is going to give you the total number of items in this series, this array series. Now I think, what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. There's 6 there. You can leave it that, or you can change it. I'm going to change it. So we're going to type in I, and then enter. And let's just key the number you want. And again, like I said before, guys, I did 30. Let's go 30. There you go. Bam. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And hit enter again to solidify that command. Basically, and then if you want for your feel goods, get your warm and fuzzies, you can hit escape 4 or 5 times, 3 or 4 times, and make sure you're out of that command. Now, here's one thing I have noticed with this, ladies and gentlemen, is that the array command, although it's really cool and neat, it creates like a block, and it so you can actually modify this on the fly if you want, changing the angle, the total angle of going around. You can mess with that later, but what I like to do is go ahead and explode it. Now, that was a lot of work to do what we're about to do, because now we're really technically going to have to do that again, but I wanted to get you familiar with the array command. So now what we're going to do is we'll finish this little guy up in a minute. Now really we're into the 3D, we're ready to start 3D modeling, and so we already pulled in our nuts and bolts here. If you guys don't have one, don't feel like drawing one, or don't even know how to draw one, again, like I said, check out another video. We're going to do it here real soon, and we'll get that put in there so you guys can have some realistic bolts in there. Also, we'll, you know, you can add materials and whatnot to it, but you could just go to some of these websites like GrabCAD or some of these other ones, and you can just, you know, fill out, you know, create an account, blah blah blah. It's free. It's a user interface. You can, you know, grab stuff from there. If you like, I not too long ago I grabbed a fire hydrant for just to add into a scene that I was doing a couple weeks ago, and it saved me a lot of time, so I didn't have to model that. And they should have some bolts and nuts and I don't know, all kinds of stuff. You can even choose different drawing platforms. Pretty cool little thing there. Again, it's called GrabCAD. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into our Southwest isometric. So what we want to do is we are going to extrude or press pull, whichever one you want to use, but we're going to press pull this little guy right here all the way down. So the way to do that would be PRESS, and it should come up press pull, the very first one you see there in blue at the command line, and hit enter. And what we want to do is, it's interesting, will it, alright, so I was thinking you could do this. I was getting frustrated the other day. Let's just type in 1. Did it do it for us? It did. Good, because I was about to say we were going to have to redraw this circle and re-rotate it, because that's how I had to do it the other day. It just wasn't acting right. Goodness gracious, that saved us a lot of time. So that's good. It actually did it right. And you can check that real quick. See how I did it? We already got that flange done. Looking nice. Alright guys, so what we're going to do is I just want to move. We'll probably stay in this realistic view here for the remaining period for the most part, just so we can kind of see what we're doing. I'm going to move this, let's just say 60 inches. I'm already at 54 there, so 60. So I'm going to erase this bad boy and all of you guys. So what do you need to do now is we can, just because it's not going to do it like we wanted to do before, we're going to we want to extrude this shape right here. So again, press, pull should pull up just simply by typing in press. And what I want to do is, oh cool, is it really doing it? It's doing it right this time. This is awesome guys. So we're not going to have to subtract out. So we're going to click just, all right. So I'm in 2018, and it reacts a little bit different to some of these things, and so I'm gonna show you both ways. All right, so this is one way you can do it, but I'm gonna do it the way, if you guys don't have 2018, I'll do it real quick, and then I'll go do it the other way. So what you want to do is type in PRESS. So if you guys are in an older version of CAD, first thing you would want to do is click on that guy and say I don't know, 12, and let's go back into this real quick, this wireframe, and do it again here. So PRESS, I'm gonna go here, pull up same direction as Z direction, positive up, and we're gonna go just again 12. Now what we're going to do is type in subtract, SUBT, subtract. We're going to first select the outside circle, that's the one we want to keep, and then we're going to select enter, and now you select the inside circle, enter again, and now what you've done is subtracted the inside circle from the outside circle. So now it looks like that. Because if you did not do that, see how it's one solid circle, and so basically we extruded press pulled the other one up, and because it had a smaller diameter, we erased the inside with its inside and left only the wall, the distance between the inside and the outside circle, which in turn gave us a the pipe. So and again, to establish that, press pull, that'll pull out and up 12. And again, just to prove my point, you still, even though we know we have it up there, see how it's coming in. Again, subtract. Again, select your outside circle and hit return or enter. Now, very gently, because it's a little weird. We're in this mode, the realistic. It might want to grab something else. Now you want to grab the inside one and hit enter, and there you go. So that's the longer way of doing it. I had a math teacher in middle school. He actually all through school, you always are taught the hard way to do it first. Then now I'm gonna teach you the easy way to do it. So, my past is coming back to haunt me. So now what we're gonna do is press, pull again, whatever you guys are comfortable with, and just hold your mouse in between both of them. They should highlight. Now just go 12. That was a lot easier. And again, I'm going to erase that bottom one. I'm going to, and if you don't want to, I'm going to erase that bottom circle, not the 3D geometry. So you just highlight everything, and then hold down Shift and create a crossing window just where you touch the 3D geometry. And see how it went away? Shift deselects whatever it is you're if you're shift selecting something, it'll deselect whatever you've already selected. Now if you remember, guys, we moved this over 60 inches or 60 units. I believe we're in inches here. So if we go move, command M in my case, and move it, make sure your ortho is on, F8 to make sure you have a straight line, and just type in 60. There you go, looking good, my friend. So what you want to do now, we can having a brain fart, we need to join or union these two, that way it's one piece. So when you match your properties, if you barely touch this one, it'll include that one as well. That's one of the really neat things about creating a union, or keeping your objects separate. If you wanted this to be one material and this to be one, for instance, if you wanted this to be stainless and this to be, I don't know, whatever, unobtainium. I don't care. I mean, what, and just to create a different material, or you want it, or to show it's painted or whatever, then yes, you could, keep them separate. But we're going to create union, union, enter, and just crossing window, select them, and now they're all one piece. Cool stuff. Was this some of my match properties? That's bothering me. What the fudge? We had two of them in there. MA, match properties. Looks like we still got two of them, but I don't care right now. So let's see if I can erase the other one. No, maybe it didn't. There we go. I say I don't care, then I go to try to fix it. Contradicting myself. So, quick way to move these little pieces. Quick thing you can do is I just typed in the move command, really. So you can type M, enter, and if you try to snap about these, and if it's not snapping, just type in CEN, about the center point. CEN. Well then, let's try to get out of the shaded. Move. There it goes. For some reason I didn't want to grab it over there. And we're just going to place it there. Now this guy, you say, hey, he is all jacked up. He is moved and rotated and whatever. Now more than likely, whenever you insert these, they're going to all be straight. But if you don't know how to rotate these guys, you can type in 3D and then R should solidify it, then hit enter, select your object, enter, and then pick what axis you want to rotate it, whether it be the blue. I know it's hard to see because everything else is blue, but blue is that one, which would be about like that way, which would be, I don't know what would be, like your XY rotation, I guess. And then this right here would be rotating that way, and then the green would be going this way. And you can kind of see how those are. And all you have to do is select which axis. But we're going, just for this right here, you can turn your ortho on. You can kind of see if you're not real sure which one to pick. You just mess with it. But we don't need to do that. I just wanted to show you how to do that if you need to. Like say if you imported one, it came in kind of weird. So yeah, there you go. So, but we actually know I do need to rotate it so that it's directly below this, and so I can move it correctly. So we'll do that real quick. So here, and we'll rotate it straight down, ortho. There you go. And we're going to move it about the center point. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these just because we're not focusing on the hardware and how to create that. They're basically just supplemental objects. I'm going to copy. I want to do 2 washers so we keep it the same as the other one. So now we know we are directly below that. If you shift middle mouse rotate, you know we are. You can quickly check, see if we're there. So we're going to move these 2 guys up to there, and we're going to move. Now you don't have to take these guys out, and if you Control Tab and go to the other drawing, you see how I have these kind of out and rotate. I did that because whenever to get the angle I wanted, they were all like being covered up by this guy right here, and so I just moved them. So yeah, there you go. But so now what you can do is if we go to a front view there, and then if you mirror, which is MI, select your objects. So now you got 2 of them in there. And just to create shows 2 separate pieces, I'm going to drag that bad mamma jamma down a little, just so you can see that, hey, there are 2 pieces there we are bolting together. And which, you know, the trade worker or the shop or whoever you're doing this for, it just helps them see that there's 2 pieces and it's not 1 piece. Seeing 2 separate holes there, sets of holes. At least that's been in my experience. So now what I want to do is move these out to the side here. Now on a 3D rotate and make sure I get, so I'm going to pick the green one. And there you go. So I'm still in line with them. I just moved them over. That's all I did. So now what I want to do is I want to draw a line. Now, Polylines a little bit funny. I know this is probably bothering a lot of you guys, and I don't know why I didn't notice it until now. F7 turns that grid off. I don't know why I didn't have that turned off earlier. So if you want to draw your path, here, what we're about to do is draw your path here, guys. For you can do any shape. You can do really a spline or whatever, but start out with just a regular line. So, and I'm going to go CEN there, and I just have a lot of trouble with polylines doing 3D. So I always start out with a regular line. Now your polyline, you can draw, because it's kind of, this is the regular 2D plane. You can type in a polyline, and the reason we're going to use a polyline is so that whenever we go into our properties box editor here, so if I just draw a polyline really quick and we'll highlight it, you get a global width on this thing, which thickens it out, creates an easier visual for the person putting this thing together, or reading it, or if it's in a manual or whatever. So since I already drew one, I'm gonna get rid of, or keep that up. And so we're going to move this about the center point. Again, CEN there. Now, if you just type in, so they should be aligned. So you should be able to fillet these two lines together. So fillet, F, enter, and then to change your radius, R, enter. And we're just going to draw lines. And this is going to be our radius here. So let's click our line here, click our line there, and there you go, guys. Now technically it's a polyline because it joined a polyline to a regular line, and so it turned it into a polyline. So looky there. So we're going to change that to, I don't know, what, 0.5? Did that do anything? No, because I did it at the very end, 0.5. Okay, cool deal. So now you actually have a pretty thick line, and I think in these new drawings you don't really have a lot. There aren't really any. Of course, you're not gonna have any of those. Any line styles, so you have to load it. So I'm gonna go to load, and then we're gonna type in hidden, HIDDEN, enter. Okay, what's the deal with that? So just type in, there you go, just choose hidden, okay, hidden, okay, highlight it, kind of doing it over again, and if you want to do it from here, you can, now we have it loaded, there you go, and just for my preferences, I want to change the line type scale to say something like 0.5. I tightened it up, dummy. 2. There you go. It's getting a little bit better. So, and I'm gonna change it also to a say something like blue. Just shows up a little better. So now you got your a path there. Now you say, well, what about the arrows you had in there? Fret not, fret not. So what you do to get those in, and that's just something I recently started doing. We need to go in the front view. And from here, all you do really is just draw any shape, polygon or whatever that resembles an arrow, and then you press pull it, and there you go. So we're going to just go something like F8, turn that on there. And I'm going to mirror that. I'm going to draw a line. I just want to come up with it a little bit. Say there. I'm going to mirror that. About that point, I'm going to fill it, change the radius back to 0. And it should give us a sharp line. Actually, that's not what I wanted to do, but I like it. Anyway, so now all you do is you want to join all these lines together. So you type in J for join, highlight them, bam, you're done. Now you do press pull, PRESS, and just eyeball it. Just enough to give you a little bit of some actual thickness to it. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to match properties from this guy to there. So now she's blue to match. We're going to go here, and you can even change the color if you wanted. So we're going to go there for our first one and copy the other one up and rotate it 3DR and go about the green. There you go. Move this little guy about the, no, not center, QUA, quadrant point or midpoint, whatever. I'm happy with whatever you try. Let me pick. Come on, please. What are you doing? There you go. And then you're going to pick just a point on here. So there you go. So that's kind of really how I did that. I'm going to make that come up a little bit. There we go. I don't know, man. Let's make that a little bit bigger. There. So 1.5. Yeah, it looks a little bit better, I think. And then again, scale this one respectively. Ooh, I didn't grab 1.5 because of the same. 3D rotate. Again, about that axis. I'm going to move it there to there. And there you go. So let's. That tip is messing me up, but whatever. So yeah, there you go. Really, and if you guys want to stop here, you can without adding anything else to it. If you guys want to just kind of see how this looks, you can type in RR enter. We have not done anything with lights or anything like that, and this is really just a and now the bolts already had some materials added to them. And if you see how hard this is to see, this is good. You can see this fine, and these are just all default lights that are shining on here. That's why I added that background, guys, to give some contrast. So that's what we're going to do now. So let's go to how do I want to do that? How did I do it before? Let's go to top view. Shoo. There we go. So what we can do now is create an arc, just like that. Yeah, that's fine. So now what you do is you want to go to a front view, and you just draw a crazy shape. Alright, so let's just go a line here and there. Something like that. And to create a smooth transition, if we keep this like this, the light will bounce off it in such a way it just won't look clean. You kind of want to make it like a sheet was draped over it. So what you want to do is create a relatively large radius here. So F enter, R enter for radius, and then just do something like that. There. See, now whenever the light shines on it, you won't be able to tell where the actual corner or midpoint of that is, just because it's a curve. Little trick I found out a while back. So we'll just do an offset here. Doesn't really have to be anything. You just type in 0.0625 for 16th, whatever. See, that's real small. Now we can just draw a line here. And what we're doing, we're just establishing a 3D surface here. No! What? Dummy. Come on, man. I'm trying to do this too quick. I'm trying not to make this too long for you guys. Although I like hearing myself speak. Alright, so what you want to do now, to save you some time, just join it. I'm trying to do best practices here and miserably failing. Also, guys, please note that I have not really been exercising any of the layers with this. I just feel like that if you start piling too much on, some of the people get discouraged, and layers are actually that's a whole nother beast in itself. And then you got seasoned CAD guys, I'm sure, can sympathize with that, with making sure you understand the layers, how they work, how to turn them on, how to turn them off. So anyway, now that we got this is one piece, as you see there, we're going to offset it. It should still be a 16th. You see there, because it's going to stay the same. It's going to there. You couldn't see it, but it actually did it. Now what you're going to do is now you connect them. While we're up here, let's just go and join these, and then we will do the same here. Line there, trim, because I'm lazy, didn't feel like doing a spot. Join again. So now if you click there and make sure you got little dots all over the place, and those are connected. All right. Beautimous. So now what we want to do is move this gadget up to here, and then what we're going to do is that's a little bit gnarly. Let's trim him back to there. Trim. Oh, you don't want to do it. What are you doing, man? whatever, we'll leave him. I was trying to trim that back to there. I don't know why. I'll just go back to the top view. Trying to confuse you people. So there we're going to trim it. Say we're going to trim it. There we go. I don't know why it wouldn't let me do it a minute ago. So what we're going to do is sweep this shape all the way around there, and will create a backdrop for us. So SW, select your object, enter, select your, what the, well, my friends, that's easily fixed. I'm not, how did I do that? How did it do that? We should have swept all the way around like that. W, sweep here, select your. Well, for the sake of what we're doing, I'm just going to rotate that around. So we're going to 3D, I can try to figure that out later. 3D rotate. There you go. There we go. So there you, I mean, so now so whenever you go to render it out, you can actually, you'll have light that's actually able to be refracted off. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, if you guys just kind of want to take a break from doing any modeling, we can mess around with the materials manager. MATER, bam, and it's going to pull up over here. Now you can add whatever you want. I think I just added a stain. What is that? See, it's recognizing this. That's what I have these as, is stairs galvanized, so that's why they look like they do. For your backdrop, really, you know, to each his own. Whatever you want to type in, sand, I don't know, something like that. Just give you a good uniform back, or sand blasted. I mean, you could even go with something weird, like something like that. If you, I mean, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you get the point. You can, you know, you can change what it is going to look like. See, it automatically makes those other objects pop. And notice how there's a nasty little shadow there. We're going to fix that in a minute. We're going to add supplemental lights. I think I like that backdrop, so we're going to use that. It's kind of uniform, although, did it do it? Yeah, see, it got rid of that blur. See, that's what I'm talking about right there, that where it starts bending. You can't tell that it's bending versus just using one big flat piece. And I like using the curves. That way, if you rotate up or down, you see, now I'm looking virtually straight down. And if we were using a flat backdrop, guys, that would have, you'd see a line. Basically, see where this is, you would have seen that line. and everything else would have been black. So that's why I use these curved backdrops. That way, kind of really, however you're going to look at it, you're going to be covered with your backdrop. And also, again, check out the other videos that we've done showing you how to add photos as your backdrop, applying an image to an actual object. Except if I wanted to, I could have added a mountain scene right here, or ocean scene, or a city backdrop, or even a, I don't know, some kind of piping systems, you know, backdrop showing that we're doing just whatever. Use your imagination. Trying my best not to complicate this, so now what we're going to do is maybe add a little bit of material to these guys right here, the actual two flanges here. Maybe we can make them different colors unlike we did on the other one. So we can go with, say, let's type in blue, B-L-U-E. I should have a blue, no, let's type in M-E-T-A-L, metal. Blue, 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 anodized blue, gray. I'm just trying to look for something on a different, something that looks a little bit different. So yeah, I like that. I like that. And then the bottom one we can go with, say, that one. Just showing that there are two different pipes. So, I don't know if I like that. I've spent more time than I care to admit messing around with these materials. Okay, that's whatever. So that we're just going to stick with that, and you can see there are obviously two different pipes going together, and you're just like, but Brian, I can't see these guys over here, and so what we're going to do is we're going to add some lights. That's LIGHT, and then you can say turn off. That's going to turn the defaulted one off. Now it's going to ask you what kind of light you want. You guys mess with these, see what works with you. We're going to go with point. Yeah, the first one, point. And just place it somewhere you know, center. It's supposed to be a center. Where did you go? Where did you go? Really, seriously, where'd you go? Well, somewhere, didn't it? I don't know if it took, guys. So let's try it again. Point P. Go circle. Point. Center. There. Okay. There it goes. I didn't enter. It's late. It's about 8 o'clock now. I've been working all day, so I'm already running low on brain fumes here. So now what we want to do is we want to move this light out just a wee tiny bit to there, and then we're going to move him up, and if we have to in a little bit we'll change the intensity factors, copy them again. Now what we're going to do is we're getting light. If you imagine light going kind of at a, you know, this is really a non-directional light, more like a sun. It's going to be everywhere. That's one reason I like these point lights. There. Now it's shining from the top, shining from the bottom. We're good. And what I want to do, so we're going to copy these two guys over, and now we're going to move them this way. And that's going to make a whole big world of difference when we do this now. It might be a little bit bright, but we can change the intensity. RR. But as you can see, it that looks good. That sharp, that bottom one looks good. As far as I like that, I'm gonna use that more often. That really looks almost real, which is awesome. CAD's come a long way from their material stuff. So well, there it goes. I don't know why it got out of it. If you want just to brighten things up, you can create a softer, lighter background. Just to do that, but for what we're doing, it's going to bug me. I'm going to change that paint. Let's go with something light. Not 3, 2. There we go. So that's just me personally. That's a little bit better. A more uniform look, and so. So if you want to get a little closer than that, you can actually use this tool palette, and that's actually the, I don't even know what this command is. It's if it'll even tell you. I don't think there is anything to it, but really. What is this? Oh, it's the zoom palette, duh. Anyway, within the zoom palette, this is zoom in. Why is it not doing it? What it does? What's supposed? Oh, why is it not doing it? Anyway, guys, so if we, it's weird because if we go to this one, guys, and then when I use that, nah, man, it's lying to me. Last night when I used this, you click this, and it gradually let you zoom in and zoom out. So I don't know what I've done different, but for the sake of this video, ignore that I did that. Anyway, so you can just zoom in, like create a zoom window, Z, enter, do something like that. But if you want to get closer and closer and closer, but I don't know why that's not functioning right. But at any rate, so now what you can do is to maximize your screen. Let's get out of here. We've got a screen as big as we can get it, and we've got our objects in here. Make sure everything's showing. Type in RR, enter, and see how this is not. You got a lot of space here, and you're like, well, wait a minute, what's all this? So that's why I said you want to zoom in gradually as you do these renders. Zoom yet again. That looks like it's not going to be enough. Let's do here. Let's type in a render again. A little bit bigger. Zoom. I wish it gave you some kind of render window to let you know. Do one more. Okay, that's getting pretty good. So. And I like these two textures here, being that you can see that they're two different pieces. So now what you can do, how do you get your text on there? So now what you can do, let's just save this bad boy to, I'm going to save it on my desktop, and we're just calling whatever that is. You can call it whatever you want. Save it there, go OK, and get out of there. So now what we can do, pretty much done here, we can go to top view. And now guys, this is taking really long to do just because I'm trying to explain this as I'm doing it and messing up along the way, but we'll get through it. And but I'm trying to give you a solid understanding. And I know a lot of these guys that do these videos, many of them are way more talented than I'll ever be, but I don't feel like they give you a full explanation of what they're doing. They just run through this stuff. So if you want to add that photo in, and we can start adding text to it, and then even turn it into a PDF, we're going to just go to attach, there she goes. This is the previous one I did. I go to my desktop because that's where we saved it. Remember we saved that weird drawing name, and that's what it was. It was this guy right here. There she is. And open. So now here, and there you go, guys. And the neat thing about these right here, I'm gonna show you something else too with these guys real quick. I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but let's say we rendered it like this. See how half of the plane is on and half of it's off? So we're going to zoom in, render it. Okay, so this is good. See, half is just the black background, and other half is not. And this is actually not a half bad view either. So we're going to render this also and insert this one and show you a neat little thing you can do. So I'll say we were. You can actually turn that background off, so whenever you actually plot it out, nothing will plot here. Because it's a PNG file, you could overlay this and it'll look like it was like custom cut, which is really neat. So we're going to do that to, let's just go to something so I know what it is. Okay, there, back to a top view, and I'm just trying to show you a couple different ways of approaching your imaging whenever you go to do these. So if you're happy with that, let that run and go with it. But if you want to add text to it, easy enough. All you have to do is really add your text and your leader arrows, and you're done. And if we go to, just because I don't feel like setting that stuff back up, we can go again to, this is our template that I showed you earlier. If I just copy out, Control Shift C, about there, and go to here, Control V, and there you go. So you got that, and now you can do your labels in. Put your labels in whatever you want them to be. You know, bolt 1, bolt 2, bolt 3, washer, nut, bolt. I mean, whatever. You know. And you can even change the mask on it too if you wanted. You know, you go to home, is that what it is? Hatch, Where's it at, guys? Where's it at? Where's it at? Usually pops up. I'm kind of half spoiled with these new text. I don't know why it's not popping up. So I do know if I just go to TX, I know that'll work. TX, that's what it was, because it was not multi-line text. TX changes single line text into multi-line text. See, now it should pop up. Like not if I have it double selected. Goodness gracious. Anyway, wasted too much on that. What I was trying to do is show your mask you can put on there. Another way to do it. I just thought we could do it up there, and you can do your... Why is it? Oh, here it is. Goodness gracious, I am losing it today. So you can go to click that, go to your background mask, go use that, go OK. Neat thing about that is it kind of creates a blocked out area. So if you're not wanting anything to get near the text, because that's usually text is key in describing what it is. If you're like, hey man, I've got a line going through there and I don't know what's going on with that, you can go to IMAGE image and type in image F. It should pull up image frame, and then turn that value to 0. And there you go. And that gets rid of the image frame, the border around your photo, which is a pretty neat little deal there. So now we got that, and we got that, and we got that. I wanted to show you what it looks like when you insert that other image. So if we go to no, not insert, attach, ATT. No, that's attribute, ATTACH, whatever. Make me type it all out. TTT, where were you at? Where did I save that? I thought we saved it, guys. I thought we did. We can do it again. Whatever. So we'll just go here, render it again. It'll take a second. I just want to show you what this looks like whenever you use one that has part of your 3D geometry not well. Control X. Now if we're just going to place that on the desktop really quick. V. So there, here. Alright, so now if we go to top view, and then now we go to the attach, ATTACH, I think it should have, there she goes. Alright. And you say to yourself, well Brian, I thought you said that background would not show up. Well, it doesn't. You can take that, and if you notice the image, the frame around that one's gone as well. Once you type that in, that's for all photos. Highlight your object, or your photo rather, and type in PR, enter, get your background transparency. Yes. There you go. Neat little way to clip your stuff. And that could have been done with really anything. If we'd have taken this away and did it, it would have just given you the outline of the outline of that, and that might have been what you were looking for. But I wanted to show you that too, because that's a neat little trick. If you're not wanting to go to Photoshop or to Microsoft Paint or whatever and cut all that stuff out, neat little thing to do. Make sure you turn your background transparency to yes, which means it is transparent, which basically anything that was black was background turned to nothing. but you still have the border there, so it still recognizes as a full image. Neat stuff there. So anyway, guys, I think that's about it. You guys can add whatever text you want in there, and if you're saying, hey, what's up with that text there looking kind of funny, that's because we weren't in, there we go. So for that text to show up properly, you probably want to keep it in 2D wireframe. You go here, it shows up kind of weird. There's really no need to be in shaded once you get into this. And again, you can turn that off if you want to, just by going to there, and you toggle with your settings. I mean, like I said, this is just to get you going. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's anything you want to see in the future, and that if you're saying, hey man, we're working on a project that we need to be able to do this, a wide flange beam or an I-beam connecting to another I-beam with angles connecting it, or if you guys want to know how to do some additional pipes and some funky shaped pipes and how to get those in there, let me know in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.